Day 2 of the Las Vegas Summer League was yesterday, and some big news on the in-season tournament that it will be coming this year. Let's start with the in-season tournament. I'm still not 100% sure how it works, but I'll try to explain it. Okay, so it's like group play, which doesn't really make sense to me because they're not categorized by division. They're categorized by record from last season, I believe. So you have 3 groups for each conference. You have West Group A, West Group B, West Group C, and then East Group A, East Group C, B, East Group C. And basically in the month of November, every Tuesday and Friday night, the tournament games will be held in group play. And all the stats are going to be counted as regular season. They're not going to be like in a separate category for in-season. And then that will determine your head-to-head play within your groups during those weeks, which will then decide to the knockout rounds in December. So starting December, the 8 teams that advance from group play and have the best records will be playing in the quarterfinals on December 4th through the 5th. It's single elimination. So the teams who win go to the semifinals on December 7th and then the championship on December 9th. And from what I'm told, all of those points and all of the stats will count towards regular season stats besides the championship game. So the championship game, no stats are going to count. I don't understand why the stats are even being counted for like the quarterfinals and the semifinals, but I guess they will be. I don't know if they're going to count as games in the regular season as well. I don't know if it's going to be part of the 82 season. But the other teams that aren't playing are going to be scheduled to play teams, just like the regular season. And the point of this is to give players more money. They're going to have like an MVP of their tournament. They're going to have an all-tournament team. I don't think there's going to be like a defensive type things. I think it's just MVP and all-tournament team. And then if you win, you get money. So hopefully all that makes sense. If it doesn't, look it up. But my thoughts on it are, why are we doing this? An in-season tournament for the NBA makes no sense. They're doing this because no one tries in the regular season. Well, a lot of people don't try. So it gets kind of boring. So they want to spice things up, have an in-season tournament. Maybe the fans can have like a reason to celebrate like a playoff game. So then the arena will be shaken, everybody will be hyped. But I don't think anybody's going to care. I think people are going to go to it as like a regular season game. I don't think you're going to get like an NBA Finals type crowd in the championship game of this tournament. Because when it's all said and done, whoever wins this tournament isn't going to care. The whole point of the NBA is to win an NBA championship, an NBA ring. This in-season tournament is not going to give anyone gratification. No one's going to want to hang a banner that says in-season tournament winner. No one will care. So I don't understand why we're doing this. And I feel like it's just going to mess up the regular season a little bit, especially since the championship game's not counting stats. It's going to be weird for people to play in it and not for it to count towards anything. Like, oh, cool, I have the record for in-season tournament points record. No one's going to care. And I don't think players are going to play like they do in the playoffs. So, like, say in the quarterfinals and semifinals, there's like a player who has some minor injury. In the playoffs, they're going to play through it. In the in-season tournament, I don't think players are going to play through minor injuries to help them win the in-season tournament championship trophy. And also, the championship trophy sucks. It looks horrible. In my opinion, it does not compare to the Larry O'Brien trophy at all. So I just don't see why the NBA is doing this. I guess we can give it a test run this year. I just hope that if it goes bad, they don't do it next year. But if it goes bad and they still do it next year, I I don't get it at all. I mean, it's a great incentive for like role players. They're going to get money. But for those top players, I don't think they're going to care at all. I think they're still going to want an NBA championship. The level isn't going to be as high as the playoffs. You're not going to get the same type of crowd. You're not going to get the same type of hype as the NBA playoffs. It's single elimination. So it's like this tournament's over in a week. And I just don't think people are going to get as hyped as the NBA thinks they will. But that's just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you want. I just don't see the point of an in-season tournament for the NBA. I get they're trying to be like more like soccer or something, but it just doesn't make sense to me. And now for the games of last night. So the first game of yesterday was Heat Celtics. I didn't watch it at all, but looking at the box score, Orlando Robinson was clearly the best player on the floor. He had 36 points, 11 rebounds. Everyone on the Celtics sucked. Jay Davison, I don't know who that is. He had 14 points. He was their leading scorer. Cool, I guess. Heat win 99-88. That's all I really got to say. I didn't even watch highlights of the game at all, so I can't really tell you anything. Jaime Jaquez didn't even play. And the game after that I did watch was Mavericks Thunder. It was an okay game. I was really disappointed in the Mavericks. Their first round draft pick this year, Derek Lively, the second, did absolutely nothing. If you don't know who he is, he's a 7-foot center. They got him at 12, 13. He had 4 points, only shot 2 shots. He shot 6 free throws. He only made 2 of them. 33%. That's not very good. I don't know about him in college. So I don't know if he can shoot, but by the looks of it, it doesn't look like he can shoot. No blocks, 5 rebounds. Didn't even lead the team in rebounds. He did only play 16 minutes. So not a huge sample size. Jaden Hardy, second-year player, had 24 points. He's probably going to get a bigger role than he did last year on the Mavs. Maybe coming off the bench a little more minutes. Who knows? Besides those 2 players on the Mavericks, no one else really caught my eye that much. AJ Lawson, he had 11 points, 4 for 9 from the field, 1 3. So for the Oklahoma City Thunder, though, they had basically everyone play besides Jalen Williams, Jelen Williams. Ousmane Dieng, 13 points, 5 for 9 from the field. He's been looking like he's getting a little more comfortable into the league. First game of Summer League, horrible, just like last year. He was not a good player last year at all, but he looks like he's getting a little more comfortable. He's knocking down some threes, knocking down some jumpers, getting to the lane. He had 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Chet Holmgren had a decent game again. He had the best plus-minus for the starters for OKC, and he played 30 minutes. He had 16 points, 5 for 10 from the field, 50% shooting. A double-double, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, so played great defensively. And then their rookie that they got at 10 with a trade with Dallas was Cason Wallace. He played 27 minutes. He dropped 20 points, 7 for 15 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3. He made a lot of threes, and a lot of those threes were pretty contested as well. A lot of them were just catch and shoot off of drives, but from like Terrence Mann or someone else dishing it out, Jared Butler. But he was knocking them down consistently. His jumper is very smooth, very pretty. I would not be surprised if he got a big role with OKC this year. Because their whole team's young. So they're going to be playing him a lot. So that's something to look forward to for OKC. And then the game I was looking forward to most was Magic Pistons. Seen a couple first-round draft picks, the 5 and Asur Thompson, 6 and Anthony Black, and 11 and Jet Howard. I'll start with the Pistons. The Pistons won the game, 89-78. Orlando looked very shaky, but so did the Pistons, kind of. So the Pistons, they had a lot of players who are going to be starting for them, which is kind of wild because it doesn't look like they're going to be great. Jalen Duren, 17 points, 5 for 8 from the field. He made a 3. I didn't know he had that in his bag. I didn't watch a lot of Pistons game last year because Kid Cunningham wasn't playing a lot. But I didn't know he had that 3 in his bag. Maybe he improved from the offseason, which is amazing. If If you can have a big man that comes from not shooting threes to shooting threes, that's going to stretch your floor so much. It's going to be so efficient for your offense. So he had 17 points, 5 for 8 from the field, made 1 out of his 2 threes, made 6 free throws, 8 rebounds. Solid performance by Jalen Duren. James Wiseman, the number 2 pick from, has it been 3 years now? That's wild. 16 points, 6 for 10 from the field. He had 12 rebounds, 2 blocks. He had a solid game. Everyone on the Detroit Pistons starting lineup had a solid game. No one did amazing. No one did bad. Asor Thompson, if anybody, had a poor offensive night, but they didn't get Asor Thompson for offense. They got him for defense. And when he was on defense, he looked amazing. He was getting deflections. He got a steal. He got 3 blocks. He only got 7 points. But that's not why he's there, like I said. And he had 9 rebounds for a forward/guard, which is very, very good. Because they need that. They need defense. They need rebounding. That's what the Detroit Pistons need. So he had a decent showing. He looked very athletic. He was always in the passing lane, always guarding the best player. Jaden Ivey, slow start to his sophomore campaign. He had 14 points, but that's not the troubling part. He shot 5 for 19, 2 for 9 from 3. He was chucking up shots left and right. He was driving and missing a lot. He's very fast. He can get in the passing lanes as he did with 5 steals. He's not like a swiper. He's more of an interceptor in the lane when it comes to steals. He had 6 turnovers, though, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. So it was a slow night for Jaden Ivey, but not too bad. If you want someone coming off their sophomore season, I feel like you want them to shoot more than be more lax, because you want them to be more comfortable in the system, which I think he was. And I think that's great for the Detroit Pistons to see. Marcus Sasser, their 25th overall pick this year, had 10 points, 3 for 8 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3. His jumper looked good, just some shots not falling. He was taking a couple contested shots, a couple deep shots, but the threes that went in looked good. So no complaints there. And for the Magic, looking at their 2 lottery picks this year, Anthony Black, he had 17 points, 7 for 10, 1 from 2 from 3. He looked good. He was driving on James Wiseman, Jalen Duren, doing these little hook layup type things, and they were going every time. He's obviously a bigger guard. He's 6'7", 6'8", I think. He looked great. I was low on Anthony Black, I got to admit. I made an Orlando video like 2 weeks ago that, got some hate because I was talking about I didn't believe in the picks that they got. But Anthony Black, he showed me some promise. Obviously, it's one summer league game, so we don't know how he's going to do in the regular season. But he looked very well. His passing looked great. Besides the 7 turnovers, which is quite a lot, which he can get those down. He was the only player on the team besides Hall off the bench who had a positive plus-minus. So if that tells you something, there you go. And he had 3 steals. Their 11th pick, Jet Howard, very slow night. 3 for 13, 2 for 7 from 3, 8 points, 4 assists, 3 steals. He did good on defense, I guess. Another big guard that they drafted this year. He was kind of just chucking up shots. There were a lot of fast breaks in the first half where he was driving and it just looked like he was out of control. He didn't really know what he was doing. DJ Wilson, a Milwaukee Buck legend. Just kidding. He had 4 points. Not a very good showing. They were all on free throws. Kayvon Harris, who was on the T-Wolves Summer League team last year, I believe. He had 21 points. He was their leading scorer. 8 for 13. Nothing. He didn't really do much else. This game, I was hyped for it. I wanted to see what all the rookies were going to do. It kind of disappointed me. It was a slugfest. Everybody looked rusty. Everybody was chucking up shots. So not the greatest summer league game, but as we go deeper into this summer league, maybe they'll get a little more comfortable in their roles. And the surprisingly really good match of the night was Clippers-Jazz. I was looking forward to seeing the Jazz, maybe Taylor Hendricks or Trey Hendricks. One of those two is a Cincinnati Bengal, and one of them is Utah Jazz. It's either Trey Hendricks or Taylor Hendricks. I think it's Taylor Hendricks. I was looking forward to seeing him. He was the 9th pick in the draft this year. Didn't play. He still has a hamstring issue. But Keontae George played. First off, Jazz win, 105-99. It was a great game, I thought. People were scoring left and right. There was solid defense at times. But starting with the Jazz, Keontae George, their first-round draft pick this year, after Taylor Hendricks, 33 points, 12 for 24 from the field, 6 for 15 from 3, had a double-double, 10 assists, so he had a 33-10 game. He looks so comfortable out there. He's got like a stocky type build for a point guard. Like, he's not weak. He's not gangly. He's very strong. He attacks the rim a lot. His 3 looked very good. A lot of them were deep. A lot of them were off the dribble. He was making plays. He was making space. He was finding his teammates. He was doing everything that you want. The Jazz right now, I don't know if they have a solidified point guard. They have Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton, but those are like combo guards. So maybe Keontae George in like a year or so, starting guard for the Jazz. I can see it. He's been playing he played very well. And in the Salt Lake City Summer League, he played decent as well. So he's been looking very good. Ochai Agbaji, 21 points, 3 for 10 from 3, 8 for 18 from the field. He looks solid. Micah Potter, 18 points, 7 for 13 from the field, 9 rebounds. He looked okay. It's weird because they play him at center, but he's kind of undersized and he's not super athletic to where he's going to be guarding the paint for you. So it's kind of awkward, but they don't really have anyone else. They have Ongenda off the bench, who's their only solidified center that they've played. Vernon Carey Jr. did not play today. Johnny Juzang from UCLA, he had 13 points. 5 for 9 for the field. Jazz looked good. Jazz looked very good today. As for the Clippers, their leading scorer was Xavier Moon. I haven't heard about him. Sorry, Clippers fans, if he's like some cool player. I don't believe he got minutes last year, so I wouldn't know anything about him. Maybe he's on the G League team. He had 26 points, 10 for 14 from the field, 6 for 8 from 3. Very efficient night. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Had the most steals in the whole game for both teams. Jason Preston, the 2-year player, undrafted, from Ohio. I remember his success story. He had 15 points, 6 for 10 from the field, 2 for 6 from 3. All their starters were in double digits. Brown, Miller, Diabate, 11, 12. Then they had 2 players off the bench who scored 10 points or more, Williams and Morgan. Morgan off the bench had 14 points, 6 for 10 from the field. Exact same stats as Jason Preston, now that I'm looking at it, like shooting-wise. Morgan had 3 assists, 1 steal. He had 4 turnovers. Not horrible. He played 23 minutes off the bench. They were spreading the minutes for the Clippers, I gotta say. But no one really that great besides Xavier Moon. It was a great game. It was exciting. I really want to see the other Utah Jazz rookies play, but they're just not right now. But it is what it is. So the other games that happened yesterday, Knicks Sixers. Sixers won 110-101. Jaden Springer had 23 points. Deshaun Jeffries for New York had 20 points. Grizzlies Bulls. Grizzlies won 87-80. Kenny Lofton Jr., who's looking great in Summer League so far. He had 23 points, 3 blocks. He's looking very solid. I like what I'm seeing. He's very big, but it doesn't ever seem like he runs out of gas, which is very surprising because it's like the opposite problem of what Zion Williamson has, who's big, but he runs out of gas like easily. Freeman for the Bulls, 24 points, 6 rebounds. Doesn't look like it was a great game. Very low scoring. Another game that didn't look very good was Bucks Suns. Marshawn Beauchamp, 20 points. Bucks are 2-0. They played back-to-back in Summer League. I didn't know they did that in Summer League. Marshawn Beauchamp has been the leading scorer both games, so he's looking to have a great sophomore season. Didn't play much for the Bucks last season, but when he did get minutes, he looks solid. He looked decent for someone getting like a couple minutes a game. For Phoenix, Camara, Don't know. He had 20 points, 8 rebounds. That's all right. It was solid. So yeah, those were the games of yesterday. A lot more games today. Game I'm excited for today is seeing Spurs Trailblazers, Scoot versus Wemby, my number 1 and number 2 prospect. Sorry, Brandon Miller, but I just like Scoot a little more. So we'll see how that game does today. I'll make a video tomorrow as usual.